Okay. I feel very spiritually inclined to do this voice journal right now because I have had like revelation upon revelation today. Chapter Revelations. It is 13:47 or 1:47 p.m. It is Friday, November 14th. And right now, I was doing my cards. I was also listening to a video, but I had like a revelation like about like the divine feminine, mother nature, earth, because I genuinely feel like I was put on this earth to do something now because I've been denying that path, that journey, that spirituality part of me. I've been rejecting my path, and I'm finally ready to embrace it because it's just like, regardless of what anybody else says, I know my relationship with source, I know my relationship with God, regardless of how it's been vilified and used as a shield to excuse disgusting behaviors and whatnot. I know my connection with source, and like the gods and goddesses, the deities throughout time, they are still symbols and they hold some kind of power and sway as well. They're representations, because my matron deity is Hecate. She's always been with me. And I have an entire divine family that I work with and that works with me. And the way that they have been guiding me and the way that I have been stepping into my divine role as a spiritualist. And when I literally thought this about myself today, I was just like, I am a specialist of spirit. Because I always felt like I didn't know my own path, my own way, because I felt like I wanted to be really good at something. Really, I wanted to really specialize in something that was capable for me to do. And I would always like question myself. I was put under so much pressure because people could see my potential to do something and to be something. And they always had like these things that they would try and tell me to do or to consider this. And it never felt right. And they would still try to push that because they could see me doing really well. And I was just like, no, stop. That's not for me. And I feel like I've really like embraced it because it's just like, it's not conventional, because it's not really broadly accepted. But there's like this thing that I just got this download that the world is waking up. I've already said this before in my recordings. The world is freaking healing. It is, with all this disaster that's going on. This is like the storm, and then it's going to come afterwards. Like after all this shakeup, this spiritual awakening is disrupting the entire planet. We as a whole, especially women as a whole, we have been moving together in the shadows, even if we don't even know each other. Spiritually, we are all connected, like the divine feminine. It doesn't even have to be specifically women. The divine feminine spirit has been moving together. And the male loneliness epidemic, the fact that women have been like taking their energy back en masse worldwide, it has, because it's a male inflicted problem. Now it's an epidemic because they're lonely. But they would paint women as crazy cat ladies that were lonely, and it wasn't a problem then. They were just bitter alone because the men got to eat their cake. But not anymore. And now it's a problem. And women are collectively waking up. We have become stepping in our power. Begun? Be Let me slow down. Slow down, Savannah. We have begun to step into our power and finally wake up to the reality that our reality is low-key magical. It really is. Like, everything is energy, everything is vibrations. And the download that I had gotten, the earth is responding to the call of the divine feminine. The earth itself is raising our vibrations and awareness. The earth wants change. It wants a balance between the divine masculine and feminine. Mother Nature is coming for her divine feminines. I feel like even people that aren't spiritual, it's like this thing like deep in our spirit and our soul, because it's just like, even if you're not religious, because I'm not religious, even though I talk about God, I talk about Jesus, I talk about Hecate, I talk about Diana, I am a spiritualist. I am spiritual. I'm not a religion. My relationship with God is completely unique to my own. I don't follow any like church's way or doctrine's way. That's not my way, because I had to find that within myself and find my own personal relationship with source, with spirit. And the way that this past week I've been balancing out, like I've healed so many wounds relating to my divine feminine part and my divine masculine part, because I was never able to let myself receive properly. And I always felt like I had to give while being taken from and never being poured into myself. And then with always having to have like this burden that kind of hangs on my shoulders after constantly having things weigh on me, situations, traumas that have built up over time that just weighed on my spirit and my soul, that wounded parts of my soul. And I feel like I've been healing these things and I've been raising my vibration so much, and I feel finally in tune with what I am, who I am as a person, because we are spiritual beings living in a physical reality. And one thing, because I watched this girl, Natija, she is amazing. She had said that Earth is kind of like a spiritual testing ground for us to awaken. It's like a school of awakening. That's what the Earth is. And I can feel that to be true. And I've been feeling more and more that my purpose is to be part of this collective to raise the divine feminine and to basically get reparations, because the patriarchy has destroyed everything. Like, it has destroyed men, it has destroyed women, it has destroyed children, it's destroyed the planet. And the planet wants change, the earth wants change, and she can feel it. Mother Nature, she can feel our awaken. She can feel us awakening, and she can feel our vibrations. She is responding to our call, and she is helping us raise our vibrations and our awareness to move how we're supposed to move. We are all on a divinely guided path right now, and the world is fucking crazy right now. I know that. But trust me when I say, like, I'm speaking to myself in the future, like, this is my voice journal, but I don't know, like, I feel like somewhat inclined to, like, maybe put this out there potentially. I don't know if I'll do that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But even just saying this to myself is enough, because I feel like I'm speaking this into reality. I feel like I'm realizing this, and I don't feel crazy either. I feel like this is genuinely what is happening right now. And I have felt so in tune with things that I always felt like would never work for me. Like with tarot, I always felt like I had the potential to be a reader and that I should be good at it, but I never had a connection to my cards. And I would try and force it, and I would just get really frustrated and stumped with myself, and I would just give up, and then I would try again. This past week has been such a drastic change. Like, the synchronicities are insane. The way my energy has been vibrating around me, and the way that I'm able to actually embrace my spirituality and read things, listen to my intuition, because I would always shoot down my intuition, my inner voice, so it wasn't able to speak up for itself, stand up, just like, actually be heard. And that is part of the divine feminine healing. And it really is. The world is healing. Mother Nature is healing us. Oh, also there was this comment that I saw today. Let me go and read it, because I also felt like this was crazy, because my signs, because that's also like part of the thing where astrology has been deemed as like this stupid thing, but like there is still power and energy and belief. Something that's put out there energy wise, that will solidify its foundations in the earth, in it, just the energy around so much more. Like, there is still basis in it, even if it's not always entirely like, there are things that, you have to use your discernment to actually find out what resonates with you and what doesn't. And also, like, you have to kind of like find what's true and what's not, because there are things out there that just are a bunch of baloney. But anyway, I am a Leo sun and I'm a Cancer moon. So my sun is at home in Leo and my moon is at home in Cancer. And I feel like I'm balancing truly like a yin and yang moment in myself. Like, I feel like I'm really stepping into my divine power, because I know how much potential I have. I know how gifted I am. And I'm also learning to let go of that that extreme pressure on myself because I know I am divinely guided and I have to let go and let God. I have to let go and let God because I'm being so divinely guided right now. And I know that I am on my path. And when it happens, it happens. When it works, it works. I know it will work out just fine. And I've been finding so much beauty in life through learning life's lessons because I feel like life is always going to be your biggest teacher. I've had my moments of karma. I've had my moments of justice in my life, but I feel like I'm about to get that blessing times a million. I was going to say times 10, times 100, but no, I feel like it's going to be like times a million. And it's going to be with interest. It's going to stack up and up and up because of how much energy I put out there. Because it's just like, I've been able to grow as a person. I feel like that's like my favorite thing to do is to evolve and grow as a person and to learn from my mistakes, learn from my lessons, and find myself more and more and find in tune. Anyway, let me read this comment. It was under Natijah's video. It was, girl, have you ever thought about why they named a terminal illness after cancer? The sign that literally rules the high priestess, the moon, the womb, divine motherhood, and feminine energy. How most readers try to say the moon and the high priestess are Pisces cards, like what the fuck? Pisces is wonderful, but it's not the feminine energy of these archetypes. I got to download that every time we fear cancer or speak about fighting it and killing it, it's an attempt to have us curse the feminine archetype. Considering most magic is coordinated with the moon, consider how fearing Cancerian energy can stunt us. They don't control the moon. The moon and its goddess are fighting to break out of suppression. They aren't making the moon energy so intense. I believe it's the collective feminine silent rage and hysteria. Obviously, I think intention is important when manifesting, but as a Cancer myself, I always almost cringe when I tell people my sign because of the association. And when I read this, I literally commented because I had to. I was just like, girl, you just shook up my brain. Thank you for sharing this. Because I was just like, yes. Because there's so much that we don't know because most things have been revolving around men and the patriarchy. And if we focused more equally on the species, on the sexes, there's so much more that we could find. Like they're finding like some amazing properties out of menstrual blood. Why are they only finding this out recently now? Even though there have been studies on like male studies for centuries, it's because it was about women and they didn't really care. And I feel like we're also getting in tap with like our spirituals because spiritual, you don't have to believe in everything when it comes to spirituality, but spirituality is about self-growth, self-love, and self-development and self-respect. It is about the self. It is about the journey of the self and finding who you are and that balance between yourself and healing from past traumas and going through life with the outlook that you are loved. You're deserving of love, and it is wonderful to give love. Like, the world can be so hateful at times, and that I feel like is not normal. Like, that was conditioned, very much so. But anyway, about this download, it was just like, it was really mind opening because I was just like, the spirit affects so much of the body that we don't even know because there is that mind body connection. Like the mind is very, very powerful. But I think also that we need to explore the spirit, mind, body, and spirit. It is a trifecta. And that's not just like from Christianity, even though that's like one of like the biggest sayings from that religion. But it is the truth. Mind, body, and spirit, the trifecta, because there is power in threes. Okay? And the spirit has so much control. When she said that whenever we talk about like killing off cancer and we talk about like fighting the cancer rather than just like healing and whatnot, it feels like that's almost like your body's way of like that disconnect and the problem like multiplying. I kind of just lost my thought. Hmm. I lost it. I'm finding it. I'm finding it. Hold on. I'm finding it. Right, this book that I was reading. So I'm reading this book called Self-Healing with Reiki. With Reiki. Sorry. Reiki. Sorry, I always like mispronounce it like every once in a while, but that's fine. With Reiki. It's by Penelope Quest, and I've been reading it. I've been taking my time reading it because I feel called to read it. And I'm not like forcing myself to rush through it. I've had this book for years because I was taught by a Reiki master when I was like 13 to 14, and she had recommended this book to me, and I never got around to reading it. Like, I always took it with me everywhere, though. Every time, like, I've moved, like, situations, households, I still always took this book with me, even though I've never properly sat down and read it. And now I feel, like, really called to read it, but read it in, like, increments. Like, I don't feel, like, forced to read it all at once and sit down with it. And every time I read, like, a chapter, it's, like, a new thing. Like, right now I'm on chapter 3. I sat through, like, the introduction and everything, and I would actually absorb the words there. And she literally said, in the book, because she said, it is a proven fact that patients that are more optimistic about fighting cancer have a way higher likelihood of beating it, or surviving it. And I feel like that goes a lot into the mind and body connection, but also there is spirit. I feel like when there's more balance, it's just like we're able to kind of like optimize our health. And I feel like we've been ignoring that part of our health because it is seen as feminine. And, everything that has been feminine has been targeted, has been beaten down into suppression and oppression. So this was my download. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the many more downloads to come. So that's it for today.